Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube. But before I start with my actual video, I just want to wish everybody a happy Valentine's Day. To those who are in love or got engaged today, shout outs to you and congratulations. To those who don't have a Valentine, it's okay. You'll have your time to shine another time. But anyways, onto my video. So, as many of you may know, I'm from Philly, but not really from Philly because I lived many other places, but needless to say, that's where I spent a majority of my time, unfortunately. But yeah, a lot of you asked me, why did I move to Virginia? How is it down there? Blah, blah. So this video is for that, but I'm gonna kind of give a backstory into why this is such an amazing move for me. So, I think, okay, before I say this, before I lived in Philly, I lived in Virginia, in the same house that I live at now. So, in 2000, I moved to Philly, and it wasn't supposed to be permanent. My dad was in the Navy, and he got transferred somewhere, and he told us that we were going to stay for a school year with my mom in Philly, which sounded great at the time because we didn't live with my mom and we wanted to spend time with her. But during that time, he ended up passing away. So we had to live in Philly, which was like the suckiest thing that could happen because I'm not a city girl. That's number one. I've lived in the city, but I don't like it. I'm not a country girl, but I like calm atmospheres. I like slower pace. And the city is just too fast for me, and I'm tired just thinking about it. But anyways, so we ended up having to stay down there. And this is why I don't like Philly, right? I feel like it's just such a negative atmosphere, and personally, it wasn't the place for us. You know, we grew up a certain kind of way, and calm, cool, and collected, and morals, and just we had a pretty solid childhood for the most part. And when we got to Philly, there was a lack of structure, and it really transformed me and my siblings. You know, a lot of people that know my brother, they know that he went from quiet to not so quiet and then into the system where it could have totally been avoided, you know, but it was just one of those cities where a lot of people lack certain things in their growth process, maybe the lack of nurture or education and just things like that. So it's just really gritty. And I'm sure if you're from Philly, you know what I'm saying. And even when it came to me, you know, my transformation, I mean, I went from really quiet, and I was still quiet a majority of the time, but there were times where I tended to act out and experiment and things like that. And that really changed how I started to develop as an adult with my mental and emotional things. So anyways, and it wasn't just the city, it was where we lived. And I know this is gonna sound really dramatic, but where we lived, I can compare it to a third world country, and I lie to you not. And I've been to a third world country. My family's from the Philippines, and I've been in places and they had to pitch water and do things like that. They don't have electricity or blah blah blah. And that's kind of how it was in Philly. But it's just like in the Philippines I could accept that because I was in the Philippines. But if you live in America, in a city, in an urban city, you would think that you would have all the necessities. So it was just a place that I hated, and it's just like I'm one of those people, I want to be comfortable in my home. Like, that's my shell. And I was never really that. And I wasn't content. But, yeah. Anyways. So, I was really embarrassed to have people like, if I ever considered you my friend, then you've probably been to my house and you seen how I lived. And some people maybe that I'm not friends with probably threw that in my face at the end, but it really made me ashamed of where I came from, and that made me super, super depressed. So what ended up happening was, you know, the mortgage wasn't getting paid. It just wasn't getting paid. So we started getting notices and things like that saying you better pay this or you're gonna get foreclosed on, blah 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 blah. And it was just like, oh, whatever, ignore. And it really hit me that I needed to get out of there when I had my daughter. And number one, I wanted to get her out the city because I hated that city. And number two, I wanted to get her out that house because I don't want to be there. I don't want her to be there. So once we started really getting those letters in the mail about foreclosure, I kind of looked at it as a sign, like, this is going to be our time to get out of Dodge. This is that time, you know, because what is the point of paying a mortgage on a home that you, number one, don't consider a home, number two, it's not giving you the necessities that you need to live like a normal human being, and number three, you just fucking hate it. You hate it all. It was just to that point. It was no point. So once we got the date that we were supposed to move out, I was so ready. And don't get me wrong, I have friends in Philly and I really love them, and that's about the only positive that I can really take from that, is the people that I've come across. You know, like, I miss my friends, but as far as the city and living there, I can totally do without. So, you know, I packed my shit so fast, and then we got to Virginia and it was like breathing fresh air. It was like a whole different atmosphere. And, you know, I have mostly good memories down here, being as though this is the home in which I was raised before I moved to Philly. So, of course, it's still some adjusting that needs to be done, because I did do a lot when I was in Philly as far as my work and my photography and art. But yeah, I mean, I can do that down here too. But that is the reason why I live in Virginia. A lot of people, you know, that do know why I came down here, a lot of my friends, they're like, oh my goodness, I'm sorry you had to go. No, don't be sorry for me. Be super happy for me, because this is just so much better. And to the people, because there are always those people, right, who tell me, why do you put all your business out there? Why do people need to know this stuff? And da 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 da. I'm not doing it for you. There's always going to be one person that appreciates what I have to say, or my background stories, or my experiences. There's always going to be at least one person. And if I at least reach one person, then it makes it all worth it to me. I don't mind telling my business, because at the end of the day, you take the negative and you turn it into something positive. People are so worried about not saying this or not saying that, when what you go through in life and your experiences may help somebody else. There's always going to be somebody who can relate to you. So that's to shut everybody down now who has something to say about my business and the third world country that I lived in America. But anyways, so that's what I wanted to talk about. That's why I live in Virginia. Be happy for me, people. I'm happy. Okay, so anyways, oh yeah, and I always forget to say this at the end of my video, so make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. And to those who have already done it, thank you very much. I appreciate all the love and the support that I've been getting so far. And I hope you stick with me. Later.